We don't serve people like you. That's what Chad, the manager, said right to my face in front of everyone, like it was just another Tuesday. I stood there, coat ragged, boots splitting at the seams, looking every bit like a man who hadn't seen a bed in days, and Chad didn't even blink. He pointed to a sign about hygiene, told me to leave. No one in the cafe said a word. Baristas kept their eyes down, customers looked away, pretending not to see me, pretending not to care. I pulled out a crumpled 5, my hand shaking. Just a regular coffee. That's enough, right? Chad waved me off, told me there was a convenience store down the block. So I put the bill away and walked into the cold. When no one realized what no one even bothered to ask was that I was Jackson Miller, the man who started the roast place in the first place. Maybe you're thinking, why would the owner show up like that? Why hide? Maybe you'd do the same if you grew up with 4 kids in a 1-bedroom Brooklyn apartment, with a mother who cleaned offices at night and folded laundry by day. Dinner usually peanut butter on toast, sometimes just the smell of someone else's food in the hallway. At 9, I started delivering newspapers in rain, snow, whatever it took. 50 cents bought a sandwich. $1 fed my little sister. My shoes always had holes. Notebooks were hand-me-downs from 3 grades up. But at home, we never felt poor. Not real. I mean, mother wouldn't allow it. You don't need much to have worth, she'd say, brushing my hair back from my forehead. But that night, outside my own cafe, empty-handed, I started to wonder if anybody believed in worth anymore. When I opened the first roast place, we barely had enough chairs. Mismatched mugs, wobbly tables, but behind the counter, I hung a sign I carved myself. Coffee is meant to be shared. Not pretty, just honest. Folks didn't just come for the coffee. They came for the feeling, warmth, quiet, maybe safety for a little while. Bus drivers on break, teenage moms, guys counting change by the window. Nobody ever judged. Nobody was rushed. Every refill was my way of saying, you matter, even if the world tells you otherwise. Now, across the street, I watched the cafe through cold glass, wondering when someone took that sign down, if anyone even noticed it was gone. That night, I saw a young barista, couldn't have been older than 24, slide a day-old muffin into a paper bag, hand it quietly to a man with a torn coat. It's still good, she whispered, and his smile could have lit up the block. Before he could thank her, Chad stormed over, jaw clenched. You're not here to give things away. That's theft. Emma's hands shook as she apologized. No one spoke up. No one met her eyes, except for a man in the corner, someone who saw everything. The next day, a construction worker, sweat-stained collar, walked in. Just a coffee, small, please. Chad didn't even look at him. Come back in an hour. We're cleaning the kitchen. Machines were still running. The worker nodded, left without a word. Moments later, a woman in heels entered. Chad greeted her like royalty, saved her favorite table. In the back, Emma wiped trays. Another girl, Sarah, asked to leave. Earlier daughter was sick. Chad just shrugged. Either stay or don't bother coming back tomorrow. She tied her apron tighter, head down. Watching all this, I felt 10 again, standing beside my mother at a diner, counting bills, asking for 1 bowl of soup to share. The waiter shook his head, said no sharing, 1 order per person. We left hungry. That night, I promised myself if I ever built something, even a food cart, no one would feel small there. The roast place was meant to be a refuge, not a business. But now, people were being turned away, and I wondered who I'd failed more, the folks outside, or the woman who once left hungry, holding my hand. The cafe looked the same, wood counters, warm lights, but the soul was missing. People came in, ordered, left. No worms, no blancis. I thought about that sign I'd carved. Was it still true? I watched the staff. Tight smiles, tired eyes, barely speaking. Had I built something that outgrew its heart? Had growth turned to greed? Maybe it faded while I was away, too busy expanding, too far to feel it. For the first time, I asked myself, did I let this happen? So I came back the next morning, same coat, same beanie, just another face on the street. I sat across from the cafe, took notes: who was served, who was ignored, who waited, who smiled. By day 3, a pattern. The wealthy greeted, the rest filtered out. Subtle but sure. I slipped in each day, ordered a small coffee, invisible. No one recognized me or maybe they just didn't care to. But I remembered every detail, every dismissal. Then, tucked behind the counter, I saw a black notebook Chad left open-handed names, notes beside them. Too loud, cheap clothes, weird smell, takes up space. Red underlines. Regulars I used to know now, just warnings to the staff. Encourage takeout, Chad told a trainee. They don't match our brand. I felt my chest tighten not out of surprise, but shame. A man came in, asked for water. Emma handed it over, no questions. Chad saw, waited until things quieted, then snapped at her, no more freebies. This is a business, not a charity. That kind of softness gets people fired. Emma just nodded, quiet. That was the moment I knew fear had taught everyone to keep silent. Bit by bit, things disappeared. Senior discount sign gone. Student rate discontinued. Punch cards for low-income families vanished. Morning specials removed. Chad called it streamlining, focus on premium service. No need for folks who only buy drip coffee. The brand I'd built on inclusion was being turned into a filter, letting only the right people through. No one protested. No one even noticed. Except the people now walking past instead of walking in. One afternoon, Rachel was told to stay late her son at daycare. No one else to pick him up. You want this job or not? Chad said, waving a stack of applications. Rachel tied her apron back on, eyes fixed on the floor. I started recording tip jars, threats, timestamps, who was treated how, who was given nothing. Each night, I watched it all back, got angrier but more focused. Accessed the back-end discounts gone, wage records altered. Then I found something bigger, a second set of books hidden, thousands missing, months of theft. Chad wasn't just cruel, he was stealing. Then I saw an email. Chad pitching an expansion to investors. No community boards, no charity tokens, just high-end decor and selective seating. He wrote, no more free refills. This is coffee for people who belong. My cafe, sold out under my own name. That day, Emma handed a muffin to a boy in a torn hoodie. Chad watched, and the next day, there was a new camera aimed at her station. Later, a note, second strike. Next one's your last. Her smile faded, her kindness hidden behind caution. I found another notebook, staff names, notes, easily influenced, low ambition, too emotional. Next to Emma's name, remove within 30 days. That's when I knew I couldn't be silent. That afternoon, Chad muttered, she's emotional garbage, doesn't belong. Emma didn't react, just kept working. But something inside me cracked. This wasn't just about Emma. It was about anyone who ever got crushed for caring. After a shift, I caught Emma outside. Why do you stay? I asked. She told me her mother was sick, she needed the job, but that wasn't all. When no one else would hire me, this place gave me a chance. No judgment. I stay because someone has to remember what this place was. And right then, I knew she was the only one still fighting for my dream. That night, I sent out an urgent meeting notice, formal, pressure, strategic investor, everyone required. Chad would see it first. He'd try to impress a ghost. The next morning, cafe spotless, team lined up, tension thick. At 10:30 sharp, I walked in same coat, same boots, no pretense. Chad called for security, but I went straight to the center, placed a folded paper on the counter. I won't belong? Actually, I do. I took off my beanie. My name is Jackson Miller. I founded the roast place. Silence. Chad tried to protest, but I showed everyone the fake reports, the threats, the pitch to sell out everything this place stood for. Audio, emails, spreadsheets, all projected on the wall. Chad stammered, made excuses about pressure and targets. But everyone could see this wasn't business. It was greed. Then I turned to Emma. She's the reason I still recognize this place. The soul of the roast place, it lives in her. That's why you should lead it. First a gasp, then applause, real, honest relief flooding the room. Emma, eyes wide, was named general manager on the spot. 2 officers came in, cuffed Chad, walked him out. Fraud, payroll theft, attempted illegal sale. The staff spoke up about pay dock for broken cups, tips canceled, sick days punished. Relief, not fear, as truth finally filled the air. That day, the cafe breathed again. Sun poured in. People of all kinds filled the seat, students, workers, parents, strangers. No premium seating, just welcome. On the wall, the old sign hung again. Coffee is meant to be shared. Emma started a pay-it-forward program. Buy one, gift one, no fanfare, just kindness passed forward. Hundreds of cups in a month. People began leaving notes, sharing gratitude, the kind of invisible chain that makes a place more than a business. One day, Victor, once so proud, now just tired, came in for coffee. Emma served him without judgment, just a smile and a warm roll. At this cafe, she told him, everyone deserves a chance to start again. Victor's thanks was almost a whisper, but it was enough. I watched, and I knew sometimes justice isn't revenge. It's a door left open, a seat at the table, a cup of coffee when you need it most. Have you ever been turned away? Felt like you didn't belong? Trust me, you're not alone. Every closed door can be opened by someone brave enough to reach for the handle. Maybe it's just coffee, maybe it's a smile, maybe it's saying, you can sit here. The smallest kindness can become the biggest turning point. Tag the person who once gave you a second chance, sir. Tell us about the moment someone believed in you. Because maybe that's how we build a world where no one has to stand alone in the cold, and one cup really can change everything.